video, it's a Monday video, I think. Should be anyway, if it's because it's a film video. I'm going to be talking about my favourite films. This was partly inspired by a video that Jack Howard made, so I'll link that in the description. But I've also just wanted to talk about my favourite films for a while because I love talking about my favourite films because they're my favourite and I love them and it's film. But there are a lot, so I'll try and be quick and not make this video 20 hours long. So yeah, let's just get started, like, now. Cleo, hello! What's your favourite film? Do you want to talk about your favourite film? Yeah. Okay, she doesn't seem to be going, so I'm just going to carry on this video. So when I say a film is my favourite film, what I mean is it's either really made me laugh a lot and I can just like watch it again and again and again and again and just laugh every single time, like I just love it so much, or it's made me really think, or it's made me kind of, yeah, made me really think and it's been really memorable. I think if a film is your favourite film, you'll remember it for a long time, it'll have some kind of impact on your life, and yeah, or either it's just really funny and you just want to watch it again and again and again. Also, yeah, these are all films that I can just rewatch at any time. Like, it doesn't matter if I've watched it like twice already that day, I will watch it again. It's just that good. So I think I've talked like way too much, so I'm just going to get into the films now. Okay, so my first favourite is kind of a classic favourite, and that is The Breakfast Club. I just cannot watch this without smiling or crying, and it's fantastic. There's amazing story and characters and soundtrack, and this is definitely one of like an amazing film that I think that everyone just has to watch. Like, I'm not one of those people that are like, you have to watch it and love it. I mean, like, just watch it, make up your own mind, but I think you'll love it if you watch it. Boyhood is another one. It's just amazing, and if you don't know what this is, it won the Oscar in 2014, but it's filmed over 12 years and it just follows this family and it's amazing. And I just love it because it's so real, it's just so honest and true, and it's honestly like, it's just so good. Like, please just watch it, I love this film. Next is The Virgin Suicides by Sofia Coppola, and the reason I said that is because another one of my favourite films is Palo Alto by Gia Coppola, and I think Sophia is Gia's aunt. I think I'm getting that right. Yeah, it's hard to keep track of all the Coppola family, seriously. But both of these kind of follow adolescence and growing up, and they're both kind of shot in similar ways, kind of like a dreamlike style, but I think Gia kind of uses more focus on like the details, and if you watch this there'll be lots of shots where you can, if you look at the details, you'll see what she's trying to say with those in relation to the characters, and it's really cool. And then also The Virgin Suicides is just kind of, it's more mystical, I guess, and more dreamlike than Palo Alto. Palo Alto is more kind of real, but this is more kind of mystical because, yeah, they do commit suicide. You can see on the front it's called The Virgin Suicides, and there's kind of a mystery as to why they do that. But in Palo Alto it's just teenagers growing up dealing with the same things that we all go through, like feeling bored, isolated, alone, all that kind of jazz, and they're both really, really good films. Next up is Moonrise Kingdom, because I had to put Wes Anderson in there. I love Wes Anderson, he's one of my favourite directors, and Moonrise Kingdom is definitely my favourite of his films I've seen so far. I haven't seen all of his films. I've seen Fantastic Mr. Fox, Moonrise Kingdom, Grand Budapest Hotel, and The Darjeeling Limited, and I own Rushmore and The Royal Tenenbaums, so we'll get to those soon. But this is my favourite so far. I just love it. I think the soundtrack is amazing. It's obviously shot well, like the way Wes Anderson creates literally his own world, like all of the costumes, all of the decor, it just feels like a different time. It's so amazing. I love it, and it's just, this is so cute and quirky. It's this little love story between these two like 12-year-olds, and it's so adorable, and they both run away from home, and it's honestly one of my favourite films. It just never fails to make me smile, and it's so good. Next up is Whiplash, and if you haven't seen Whiplash, oh my god, it's falling! If you haven't seen Whiplash, what are you doing? Please just watch Whiplash. It's amazing. Amazing performances, amazing soundtrack, amazing editing, directing, script, everything. It's just so good. Please watch it. Oh my god. Next up is Kingsman: The Secret Service. I love this film. It's so good. And the director, Matthew Vaughn, is one of my favourite directors for shooting action. He just does it so well. It's like, it's all so smooth and it just moves like so well, and it's amazing. And it's also just really funny, and it's about a spy service, and it's like the best thing, and I love it. Next up is The Kings of Summer. This is an amazing film about 3 teenage boys who just decide to, like, they're done with adolescence, they're done with their families, they're done with school, and they just go and decide to live in the forest, and it's awesome. It's basically just about how they survive there, and yeah, it's really funny and it's really well shot and it's really, really good. Next up is White Bird in a Blizzard, directed by Greg Araki, who's quite famous. He's directed quite a few films, so if you know him, that's probably why. And this is White Bird in a Blizzard. The cover of this is so misleading. It's not a romance, it's not. It's about, it's set in suburbia, and it's about this teenager called Kat, and then her mum goes missing, and it's kind of about how she deals with that and what really happened to her mother. It's kind of a mystery type thing, but I just love the way it's shot. And it's also got Eva Green in it, who gives a really good performance in this film. Next up is the film that won Cannes, like, 2014 Palme d'Or award, like a really prestigious award, and I know why. Like, it's amazing, and it's Mummy, directed by Javier Dolan, and it's so good, and I just love the way this is directed. It's just so good. I mean, it's a sad story. It's about a boy with ADHD and that, like, the effect that has on his family and the people around him, but it's just shot with such hope. Like, the colours are so bright, and also it's like he changes the frames, so when the characters are feeling trapped and alone and they don't know what to do, the frame is really small, but then when they're happy, the frame like widens out again, and it's just the way he uses that at certain moments is just really powerful, I found, when I watched this. And it's definitely one of those ones that's kind of forced its way into my memory. Like, it's just, it'll get you, trust me. I cried. Just please watch it, it's so good. The next section are films that are not necessarily like acclaimed or, you know, like amazing director. They're not really Oscar winners, but they're just ones that I love and come back to again and again because I love them and they make me laugh. And the first one, We Are the Millers, it's just so funny. I just can't get over how amazing this film is. It's so funny, and I could just watch it like 3 times a day, and I don't care like how many times I've seen it. It's just so funny. Please watch it. It's about this family that tries to cross the border with drugs, and it's just hilarity ensues. It's amazing. Also, The Devil Wears Prada, because when I was younger I was like well into being a fashion designer. I really wanted to be a fashion designer, and I was really into The Devil Wears Prada, Ugly Betty, like all of those things, and I love this film, and Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep are fantastic. And next up, Scott Pilgrim. I just love the graphic novel series, and I love how this is basically shot like a graphic novel, and it's got like graphics on the screen, and it's shot kind of like the fight scenes are done like in a video game style, and it's just so good, so funny as well, and yeah. And next up is kind of like childhood nostalgia, like films that I watched and loved when I was younger and still watch and love now, and that is School of Rock, which is just amazing, and it's about this substitute teacher who teaches this school, but then he decides to abandon all schoolwork when he finds out they can play instruments really well, and he starts a band and they enter competitions, and it's just amazing and so funny. And weirdly, it's directed by the same director who directed Boyhood, which is not what you would think, but it is. And also Son of Rambo is a film I watched as a child, and I just love it. It's a film about these 2 young boys and they make a film, basically. It's a film about making a film, and it's so funny and so good and so adorable and really memorable. I haven't watched this maybe in like a year or so, which I really need to actually. I need to watch this again, but I still remember every detail. And then also Freaky Friday. I just cannot, like, this film, it's just, I know it's cheesy, I know it's not like original, but it's just so good, and I just love it. And then magical Coraline. I'd never understand why people, when I was younger, I watched this when I was about 10 or 11 or something. I definitely watched it in year 6 because our teacher read the book to us, then took us on a trip to see the film, and everyone thought it was so scary, and I was like, I loved it, and everyone was like, oh, I hated it, man, this is so scary. And I was just like, oh my god, guys, it's so good, like, what are you talking about? I love it. But yeah, I love it. The animation, oh my god, and the story as well. I love a creepy story, and I'm planning to do a separate video on like horror films soon, so I just love creepy gothic-y things, and this is amazing, and the animation is just... And if you love the animation in Coraline, definitely watch The Box Trolls, which is another one of my favourites actually, but I don't have that on DVD yet. But I will get it because it's amazing, and yeah. And 2 films that I don't have on DVD that I want to give a shout out to because I love them are The Spectacular Now, which is amazing, and Heathers, which is also amazing. Heathers is about like high school in the 80s, and they kill their classmates, and it's really funny, and it's got an amazing soundtrack and amazing one-liners and so good. And then The Spectacular Now is basically about these 2 teenagers who are really different. One's kind of out there and partyish, and one's really quiet, and they meet and they have a really great like, I don't want to give too much away, just please watch it. And it's got Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley in it, and they're both fantastic, and it's directed like beautifully, so please watch it. And now we're down to like the last two that influenced me the most, and there's one that made me fall in love with film, and there's one that made me want to make films. And the film that made me fall in love with film is The Nightmare Before Christmas by Tim Burton. I adore all of Tim Burton's films, but this is the first one I ever saw, and I saw it when I was about 6 years old, or 5 or 6, and all I'd seen up until then was like Disney Pixar. And I watched this, and this was so different to anything I'd seen before. I was like, oh my god, like, you can do so many different things with film, like, what the hell? And I just fell in love with it. I just loved it so much. The soundtrack, the characters, the way it's animated, like, what the hell? This is stop motion. I mean, it's blah. I just can't with this film. I watch it like a lot. I watch it a lot, and it never gets old, and I know every single word. So I can mouth to this film. I can do that. Like, I can't do that with many films. I can do it to this film. And the last film that really influenced me, I don't have it on DVD, which is really weird, but I just know it so well. Yeah, anyway. But it's Girl Interrupted, and that film made me want to make films because before Girl Interrupted, I'd never seen a film that spoke to me so much. Girl Interrupted is basically about this 20-year-old who goes into a mental institution because she, like, her family thinks she's crazy, but she doesn't think she's crazy. She thinks that she's normal, and everyone's thinking the same things as her, but the fact that she voiced them makes her crazy. And in there she meets Lisa, who's kind of crazy, and Lisa's played by Angelina Jolie, and it's honestly one of the best performances I've ever seen in film ever. She just does it amazingly well, and it's just basically about embracing the pain and the joy in life, and it's just a beautiful film, and the script is amazing, and the performances are just honestly like so amazing. I'm running out of like adjectives. What can I say? Like, it's just, please watch it. It's so good, and I love it so much. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed hearing about my favourite films, and please leave yours in the comments because I want to talk about film. I love film. Please talk to me about it. So yeah, I will see you soon. Well, no, I keep saying that. You'll see me soon in another video. Bye!